there, it's a camera. I'm Dan Friedenberg, and that's Sri, and we're here, and this is for Who Are You Helping? So I don't know how everybody else does the little countdown thing. I got some beats here while people load in. Not bad, right?
No, not at
Not
all.
plenty distracting as all hell. But this has got to be a party, right?
It is going to be a party. It's always a party when I'm around. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so, alright, so let's get started with Who Are You Helping? Hey everybody, I'm Dan Friedenberg, and this is the first live streaming edition of Who Are You Helping? And whenever there's someone in my circle that I want to help, and I don't know how, I invite them to a condensed 8-minute interview format that'll help me and my network to pick the professionals based on more than just right place at the right time. And that's really what's going through my head with this Who Are You Helping? But we can do this because my guest shares who they help professionally and also who we are indirectly helping when we support their business or private cause. And today I'm joined with Sri. I haven't tried to pronounce your last name before. Go
Mahabir.
ahead. Mahabir. Okay, cool. There you go. And I met her through a group that focuses on building your LinkedIn audience. Sri, it's lovely having you here today. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience while I turn down the music?
I just want to say thank you, Dan. It means a lot to me that you wanted to bring me on. And are you saying that this is episode one? Am I your first guest?
It's the first live one. It's the first live streamed Who Are You Helping on LinkedIn Live, and we're streaming, and I got a microphone that's falling and making all sorts of crazy noise for you guys. I don't know how bad that was, but yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and this is supposed to be the regular thing. I'm going to start having more and more people on Who Are You Helping little episodes here because I think you're probably the same situation as I am with your schedule, which is there's so many people you want to help, and most of the time you're not really sure how you can even pull that off. So that's what I'm up to. But why don't you get a little bit more in depth into introducing yourself there, Sri?
So, my name is Shri, and I'm the owner of Next Level Consulting. What we're doing right now is something that I do with many of my clients. Maybe they have a show that they're doing live on other platforms and they want to go live for the first time on a new platform. I'm here to help them work through those kinks, those problems. How can we get through this so you're not by yourself? After interviewing over 100 entrepreneurs, and many of them, about like 40 of them, had never done live, and coaching them to be comfortable to be in front of the camera, to do a video and live streaming. This is how I help you, because I will share my own personal story. I was laid off 12 days ago, and because of the visibility that I was building during this time from 2020 until I was laid off, this is why I have this community. This is why I have what I have. And especially in the last 6 months, about the time I met Dan in between those 6 months, but I was really focusing on this second business that I had started. And it's not as scary as I thought it was. I mean, I'm still scared. I'm still nervous. I only got the laptop that I'm using right now on Sunday. So, it's small steps, but anything is possible. And I just want to share, when you get comfortable with yourself and you get comfortable with your story, then you are able to share it with others. And you will be surprised how one person will get in your DMs or message you and just say, I really needed to hear that. Or your story, your triumph, your resiliency is what's helping me get through what I'm going through right now.
That's really, really fantastic. And I think those of you in the audience who know me and have never met Shri before, I think you can see already why I had her on. because like I'm known in my circle for the confidence online in front of the camera. I don't care if the camera's on or off, but you've got such a friendly demeanor, and you just really nail it on camera, and that's really really fantastic. And it's great to see as far as somebody who's willing to give back on those subjects too. And so the first question in these, who are you helping? That's right here. Who are you helping? The first question we usually go through is who do you help professionally? And you're experienced enough to have already included that in your introduction. So so let's narrow it down a little bit though. Who are you better suited to help professionally than others? Like, are there any like demographics, like specific age groups that you find you're better suited to help, or just any features at all? It's basically an avatar, since you know the marketing term. Like who should really be reaching out to you?
So this is really funny. It's that person who is in the age range between 35 and older, who has a business or is trying to get visibility for themselves in their business. And I've learned that video also helps you speed up the process, your sales process. Think about it. If you are doing a video, whether you're posting it on a social media platform or you're sending it in the DMs, that video is what's going to get somebody's attention and connect with you, because either they're going to like you or they're not. And in the case of Dan, if you why do we have an echo, Dan?
Oh yeah, it's because I'm switching audio. It was coming through these front speakers, and it was terrible. It was I could barely hear you, and now I can hear you really well. But now you got the echo. Why don't you try again, and I can switch it out if it's still going.
No problem. So I still
You
hear
good?
myself.
Okay, sorry. I'll put you down even more then. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so to go back to what I was sharing, many of us are scared to even just share a story. Like, I was scared to share that during the time that I worked for somebody, I used what I had, which was the laptop. I should have went and bought a laptop in between, but I didn't, because I was trying to build and I was trying to invest in the business, invest in myself. And I finally shared that story, and it was really surprising how many people reached out and said, I'm rooting for you. I want to see you win. And even on top of it, the reason why I have a laptop is because of my beautiful daughter. So her belief in me and in the business. But going back to your question, who do I serve? I serve I've been serving entrepreneurs between the ages, and it just seems like that is that age range, but it's actually solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who are ready to get past that. Okay, I'm ready. I know this is what I need to do, but I am scared. I'm hesitant for whatever reason.
Yeah, you froze for a second, and then you came back.
Okay, can you see me
Yep.
now?
Yep. Yep. You're good.
It could be the stories that you're holding on to, the fears, or it could be that you're afraid to show the world your face due to something that happened 10 years ago. I mean, there's just so many reasons. And while I have helped many of them, I've also learned to, peel back those layers too. Like, what's holding me back? Even in this journey, I've had layers. Even today, I'm peeling layers as we're talking right now, because I'm like, you know what? What do I have to lose? Somebody's gonna either you're gonna like me or you're not.
Yep. Yeah. That's really it. And the other thing too that I've found that's kind of interesting, that's kind of like a one-liner sort of idea, is how I noticed that with like YouTubers, for example. I was not really big on YouTube personally. Okay, I thought a lot of the videos they lacked any real substance, and I was going like, well, what else do I notice about the fact that these are the people who are constantly putting stuff out? And I noticed over time, even if you don't like somebody, that's usually only a blip on the radar near the beginning. And then after you get over that dislike, I find you tend to be like, it's just another person who's trying to make a living. They're just working with what they've got, and that negativity, I find it goes away, and that's one thing that gave me confidence personally to get out of my shell and start putting out all this content on there. Is that something that you want to talk about, or you want to move to the
Yeah.
next question?
No, that's a great question because we have those thoughts in our mind. What are these limiting beliefs? Nobody's going to pay attention to me. There is already somebody who's doing this. Let me explain something. There are so many people doing what I'm doing, right? Somebody who even recently took something that I shared with them and is now publicly saying that this is what they're doing. It happens. It is, and it's part of the story. What makes you unique is you. Nobody's going to be Sri Mahabir, who's had, a survivor of abuse and rape and who's seen the ugly side of things in people and her daughter and helping her daughter realize her worth and that she's got so much that she can offer. And to the point that, my daughter is investing into my company. Nobody, how many people have that story? You can relate to it, right? And like Dan, every time I blink my eye, he's starting a new business. I feel like he just has 20 businesses. Are you part Jamaican, by the way, Dan?
Well, it's funny. The complexion might make you think that way, but no, I'm not actually Jamaican. But what can you do? But let's move on to the next question here, which is who do you wish you could help more? And to put that question in context, that recurring question for the who are you helping, who do you wish you could help more? I really mean that some people are looking to be the first generation of success in their family. Others have people who have in their family with special needs or something like that. Others volunteer or run orphanages, and all of those are equally great causes. I don't want people who are getting on their feet for themselves and their family to feel like that's somehow selfish, because it's not. And so all those are great causes. But what's in your life that you'll help more if people help you professionally, or what cause would you like to support? What's your indirect motivation?
My indirect motivation is helping the person that realize that they can
They
share their
can
story, that
share
they will
their
not
it's
story and
no,
they
yeah,
won't.
the internet's glitching. Yeah, they can share their story. It sounded like you said.
Yeah, they can share their story, that they're not, that they will get backlash, but they're prepared to stand in front of that backlash. Also, realizing that they're valued, they have value to share, because that was something that I struggled with for a very long time, especially even before I met Shanae. And it was when I met Shanae that I just got past that and said, I'm going to work through this. And that's the person that I would love to help, because we all have something. We all have a story, and we all can teach somebody how to get through something when they didn't think they could get through it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the next question is my favorite, because we don't usually get an opportunity to say this in any public setting or anything like that. But how can people help you, Shri? Like, what would help you more than anything else? And like, I don't know if this will get me canceled, but imagine you could sit on Santa's lap and you can ask for any kind of help. How can people help you, Shri?
Well, I would say to pass on the word, like, hey, there's this person named Shri who's willing to help you. Give her a shot instead of just, going by, and everybody wants to read reviews, and I have them. I can send them. But the thing is why don't you just take a chance on yourself? And I would love to be that person to help you. I mean, it's like Dan. I want to be the person that trolls him. Like, how do you do that?
There is a challenge now. Like it's the bar is already set, and it's set pretty high. But you mentioned Shawnee Murray already, and we met through LinkedIn through her group. And is LinkedIn the best way to reach you, or is there a better way, like a website or something, to reach out to
I
you?
mean, for me, it can be LinkedIn, and you can also reach me on Instagram. But since we're here, and if you're watching the replay, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, whatever that you're watching right now, definitely hit me up. But if you're still trying to figure out, you can get through Dan and he'll lead you to me.
That's true. I will. I would. I'd do that for Shri. And usually in Who Are You Helping interviews, this is the part where I ask people to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that YouTube pays me to post videos on YouTube. Do you think they should subscribe to my channel, or
I
should I
really
just pay for my videos forever and ever like a chump?
I think you should pay for your channels like a chump, but I also believe that people should subscribe to your channels just because I love the tips that you give, especially like about housing deals and the different individuals that you bring on so that we all can learn from them.
Sweet, sweet, and it's free too, right? Subscribing. It only means that my videos might show up on their list of suggestions, so that's a real
Mm.
great reason. But that's where we usually end the episode. So now we get to acknowledge the fact that we know each other, and I was scratching my head for topics, and you sent me a video about trolling. You just mentioned it again about trolling, and so I'm not blabbing all the time, and so the audience gets some sort of idea. Can you tell the audience why trolling immediately comes to mind when you think of me, Shri?
So since I've met Dan from Clubhouse, he talked about how he had these people trolling him. I was like, what is he talking about? So then started watching these different videos that he posted, and he has like so many, like Debo from Friday have trolling him. He's got so many different folks, and it just puts you on the map because they're so funny. They're trying to say his name all crazy, and the Frad Kruger Freakenberg.
Right, right. That's exactly it. So there you go. But I got a few other talking points to go through here. Like I mentioned, like one of the things, like I want to get a little bit deeper into creating a social media audience, and I really into the nitty gritty of being an influencer and all that sort of thing. So the first thing that comes to mind is if we're encouraging people to get on the camera more and do more on social media, I think one of the biggest concerns that people have, like one is trolling, and to give some background, what I did is I got these celebrities to troll me because I recognized that you have to be prepared for trolls. And my idea is that if I pay these celebrities to troll me, everybody will remember what they said, and nobody will remember what anybody else said. And that was kind of my thinking here. But if somebody's really concerned about cancel culture, which was a huge topic last year, I don't think it's as big this year because people got other things on their mind. But are there some things you can say to either see like is cancel culture right now? Do you think it really is the minefield that I think you believe it is if you watch all of the news, or is there something you can comment on that as a member of? And just so I try and get canceled right now, I called Shri before the minority that's not actually a minority because it's totally not in terms of the population of the world, but. So is there anything that you can that comes to mind as far as cancel culture that you might want to mention to people thinking about growing their audience?
I feel like cancel culture is just canceled to those who don't sit with your message or they don't vibe with you because okay, you hide for a few years and then you have your comeback. How many of those stories have we heard? I can think of, just think, Iron Man, the actor. He disappeared for a while and then he came back. And then we learned his story. And then we felt stupid for why we canceled him. And so that's why I'm just saying, and then some people just will never like him. That's just what I feel about cancel. It's canceled for now. But you still have people who still respect you and care for you. I mean, like even as adults, I may not like you, but I would not put you in a position where you couldn't fend for your family because that's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally. So if you're thinking and you're worried about cancel, okay, that's the worst that could happen. You get canceled. But what do
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
do with that? How do you get back on your feet? How do you learn from those lessons? What do you do? I mean, my biggest thing is although I post and I'm crafting what I say, engagement. How are you building those relationships on and off of the platform? Like I've
Mm-hmm.
talked to Dan. Dan has approached me to collaborate with some things, and I am so thankful for that. And that shows the type of individual that he is, that he cares. and he will approach you if he sees talent. So if you are in Dan's circle, just know he's going to come up to you with 900 ideas. One of them is going to stick to you, and you're going to be like, yes, but that is Dan because he's always thinking about the next step. Because why? I wouldn't cancel Dan because I know he's got children, he's got a wife, he's got a family to feed. Maybe I don't agree with something, we can disagree. And I've also learned this too, everything has an expiration date. That's just life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So today we're great and groovy, and tomorrow it may not be. So if you get past that and you understand that this is all there,
Mm-hmm.
then you're just going to show up. Just show up for you. Show up for the future you. Just think of yourself. If I look back 1 year ago, I'm so proud of myself because I showed up when it was hard. While I was doing, while I was working a 9 to 5 during my lunch, I was meeting with potential prospects. I was connecting with people. I was building and learning what I needed to do for my business, and I still am.
Mm-hmm.
So looking back a year ago, I've come so far. So just think of that. The first time you do a video, think of who is Dan or who is Shri 1 year from now. And we
Mm-hmm.
have Kamal who says, stick around the best in their field and you will learn to become the best. Thank you, Kamal.
Mm-hmm.
I
Good
want to give
stuff.
out a shout out for Kamal because if you are somebody who wants to go into 2022 working on your mindset, definitely check out Kamal because he will get your mind right. Because he will not have you think about just now. He'll start having you think like one of the a great conversation we had yesterday was what is a goal for myself? And it wasn't about just the responsibilities like paying for my daughter or taking care of her college. It was what do I really want to do? Being able to travel and see the world and do things. So that's just my and we met, Kamal and I met through Shanae's group. Dan and I met through Shanae's group. And what was the commonality? Is because of video. So imagine you, even if you don't work with any of us, just imagine you put yourself out there on video. How many more people are you going to connect with?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's beautiful, and actually, I got a perfect example. Because like as I said, I have no fear of digging deeper. You mentioned some of the unfortunate things that happened in the past, but going back to cancel culture, somebody in my circle this week revealed that they got invitations to Mike Tyson's New Year's Eve party, and like all, like, especially with what you already mentioned about your past, it's like, okay, well, Mike Tyson was a convicted rapist. But like when she said that, the person who got invited, I was going like where is the red line as far as where like an awesome story and probably an amazing time oversteps, to the, it's like, yeah, but like, like there's also like a statute of limitations and the fact that he's already, like served for that crime or whatever. But like what about that? Like what about the risk of getting canceled for something that, it's not even what you put in your video. It's just the fact, like, well, now, it's easier to get scrutinized because you're out there, even if you do something like go to a party that sounds absolutely amazing.
I'm actually thinking about it. I'm like, if that was me, I would still go to the event because he is only one part of the picture. But there are other people that are there, and everybody wants to connect and network and meet the next. Remember, it's all about takes one person, right? I met Dan, and here we are. Like he saw a comment I made, and he brought me on, which means the world to me because I had shared something that happened. And so he was like, "No, we got to bring you on." So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, there's that whole like I don't know, but then I could meet some really make a connection that could change my life or I could meet future business opportunities. So if you're going in that mindset and you tell yourself, I have a game plan, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this and get out. Why are we, my question to people are like, why is that a bad thing? I'm trying to feed my daughter. I'm trying to leave a legacy for my daughter. I have to put her through college. I got to pay the bills. Why are we judging because we have to do these things? Like that's the question that I have. Like I get I'm mad at the moment, but then I have to think they have a family.
Hmm.
That these are
Hmm.
just this is just a thought that I have.
Right, right. And what's going through my head, like when I found that out and I messaged you, is that like now I understand the power of eyeballs, and that's one step. But there's also understanding the rules of eyeballs. Which is like there are very clear rules about it, like consistency. They keep on talking about the importance of consistency on social media, and one of the things that I deliberately did was I got like to the letter. What's up? We got Robert Barry saying, "Hey, hey, Rob." It's good to see you. But one of the rules is like I wanted to see is like is that consistency as far as like it has to be the exact same time on the exact same day of the week, and that's what I was really looking for, and I just wasn't really convinced that's but when they say consistency, you can't disappear for 2 months.
Mm-mm.
It's if they're the rule that I'm really talking about is if they're not looking at your post, if they're not looking at your face, then they're looking at somebody else's face and they're thinking of them and not you. So that's one of the big things that make me say is like, well, it's not really a decision for me as far as how public my career now has to be. It has to be ultra public. It has to be ultra transparent because that's the way that eyeballs really work. So that's why I had Shri on for Who Are You Helping, so that you in the camera can say, am I willing to invest a little bit of cash so that I don't look like an idiot in front of the camera a bunch of times before I get
Where
the
do I
swing of
look?
it?
Where do I look? Where do I look?
That's funny. That's so funny. But that's all about building a social media audience. But with LinkedIn specifically, what are some things about LinkedIn that make a lot of sense? Like the different, like if you compare it to other social media platforms, like do you have anything you can share on which platforms are the one to be on? Is LinkedIn really the one to be on, or what?
I would say don't judge LinkedIn until you really give it a try.
Hmm.
Start connecting with some people that have an understanding of how it works before you give up. So that would be something that I would share because I wish I had a little bit sooner been more on LinkedIn. But I also understand there are a lot of people who have their companies that they work for. So there's like that fear and what if it's a competitor, like you created a company that's a competitor. Those are things that worry. So those are things like I would just say, you know, you could you could definitely reach out to me. You can definitely reach out to Dan because we'd love to talk to you and help you get through that. Um, as far as other platforms, I am on Instagram, I am on TikTok, and I am on Facebook. But the way that I operate is that I focus on Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And TikTok is a booming, like, let's just be real. In 4 years, they have a billion users. They already have, it's used more than Google for searching. Could you believe that? That people are going to TikTok and using it to search. And now they have a service where it's a food delivery service, TikTok food, if I'm not mistaken, where you can, if you see something that a creator creates, you can actually order that food. So I'm just saying that TikTok is showing that this is, the next platform to be on. So I would say I have a 21-day video challenge, and I would love for you to come and join the challenge so that I can help you get through and help you post videos on TikTok. Along with, I do have group coaching and one on one coaching where we go into deeper about how to get work from the mindset all the way to creating a live series like Dan here. And yes, I would say when it comes to doing lives, it's good to figure out what's the time that works and be consistent because I will say when I started my IG live, I was consistent on the time. So people just knew Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm on, I have a guest. The first Saturday of the month I have an international guest, and then the last week of the month I take off to just, regroup and then I start back again.
That's beautiful. So I see here. We got a big long comment here from Kamal. Get honest with yourself and show up to your clients, yourself, your goals, your desires. Shri will aid you day in, day out. She'll be there for you. Let's get you all jazzed up about your goals this year and get 2020 to be the best ultimate year
For you
for you.
to
Okay,
be the
great.
best
And we got
you.
we also got Rob saying a lot of us are afraid of the camera. How do we get in the right mindset? Well, well, another thing for you, and I don't want to reveal all the tricks or whatever. I know that my wife does this too. Is like there are certain stretches and stuff too. So it's not just mindset, right? You got to get ready. Like I don't want you to reveal all your secrets, but let's go specific to what Rob's saying. Like, what advice do you have for getting in the right mindset?
I would say, oh, because Kamal, I love you too. Like that dude is awesome. Robert, I would say that for me personally, what makes me less looking at the camera and be like, oh my God, they can see my psoriasis. Oh my gosh, they're gonna see the wrinkles. Like I can't, I'm not comfortable. I do something that helps me get where I feel that I'm at my best looking. And so that is love makeup. I learned how to do it. That's just me personally. For you, it could be wearing that hat. For another person, it could be just affirmations. So those are just a few things that I would say about getting in front of the camera. But again, I would love to help you and we can dive deep into that. Like what would help you get in that right mindset?
I did a post like about a week ago about this, and I was saying that it's like the Canadian saying about getting attacked by a bear. And see, the trick is if you're being chased by a bear with your friend, it's a little known secret that you don't have to be able to outrun the bear. You
Mhm.
only have to outrun your friend. Okay? And the way that it works is that posting is exactly the same. See, you don't have to be faster than the bear. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be a little bit better than average. And then people are like, oh, thank God I'm looking at this person's posts and not somebody else's who's just not putting in the effort. So that's the other thing that I think that if you want to keep a nice low standard mentally to hype you up, it's like it's okay. It doesn't have to be flawless. I don't have to be Steven Spielberg. It doesn't have to be written by Walt Whitman. Those are the things that I got. But what else we got here?
Unless you are those people and have those people behind you, I would say that, your question about who are you serving, it helps. Like, even if you are looking from a sales process, why are you trying to look at this big pool when you could just look at just one person? And when you talk to that one person, you'll notice that your closing rate is going to increase. Why? Because you're not focused about everybody, you're just focused about one person, which Dan did ask me earlier, like, who am I serving? And it makes sense because I don't need to serve everybody. I'm not here for everybody. I get it. But I'm here for that person, you who's watching this replay right now, and you are ready to take the next level because you're that next step because you want to share your story.
Okay, so I'll get to a couple more of these comments in a second, but I want to talk about an idea that they have in funnels, which is called the value ladder. Okay,
Mhm.
so online businesses in general, what they usually have to have is they have to have an entry point that's either free or dirt cheap. Then they have one that's dirt cheap. Then they have another layer that's more and more and more. And another way of looking at this value ladder, other than just like this doesn't cost much and this costs a ton, is the amount of hands-on work, the amount of done for you, the amount done with you. And I think that the answers for why you'd want to have a coach for this specifically, because I'm mentioning this because I'm seeing a bunch of great comments in the like on this subject in here, and I'm just trying to establish to the people in the audience, it's like, well, what's the point of actually forking out your hard-earned money when all of it's on there for free? And just so that I like start the ball rolling, the first thing that comes to me is accountability. Like if you don't have somebody there for accountability, you're not going to actually do it. And it's one thing to be told, but it's also, you have to have somebody looking at your stuff and saying, that right there, you see that? That's the behavior that I need you to be aware of, and then try to do it less so you look better on camera or something like that. So that's how I tee up saying like why you definitely want to have one-on-one coaching with you, Shri. But any other comments on that?
I do. I mean, think about this. I had to watch a bunch of YouTube videos to figure out how to do the blending, how to do the eye work, to do all of this, right? And it's still, there's more work. But if I had a course, which I do, that helps you just know what to say and do. Because also the other thing is I'm in my 40s and I don't need to have all this cakey makeup. I want to learn how to make it look natural. Why not why not have a course that, or a coach, especially a coach who gets like right in the middle with you, like you said. And now your time frame has gone from now a year and a half to just a few months, few weeks, and now you're doing it. And you can come back and say, hey, how can I level up? Like, think about this, Dan. Why did you start working with a coach?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. For me personally, I like to compare the cost of a coach with the cost of an entry level employee. So it's like if you are paying somebody, say $12,000 a year, okay, so that's $1,000 a month. Okay, it's like what exactly do you expect to get out of them? Because I can guarantee there'll be a lot of anxiety that you'll be getting in return for your $12,000 because you're getting somebody who's probably still in college or something like that and have very very low skills. So if you compare that to what you should be making, like maybe right now you're only doing five figures a year, but what about if you actually do learn effectively and you do scale to six figures or seven figures a year? Then when you are just trying to DIY the whole process and learn as you go along, you're spending that money because that money's not going to come in. So it makes way more sense to do that investment up front in a coach so that you can get that, value out of it. And then just so what you're doing is you're paying a very small amount to get rid of a whole whack of time of, poor profitability. So that's my one on that.
I get
But
that. I mean, that it is true. You have to, you, at the time frame, you either have the money or you don't. But if you have the mindset, I'm going to make the money back, it's going to happen.
right, right. That's really it. Especially, like otherwise, it's like, what are you even doing? But yeah, we got Rob on the screen here saying that I pushed my friend down, and it's actually I just wouldn't end up in the forest, and that's why my office is so nice. But
With the Christmas lights, like it's all jazzed up. I'm all.
yeah, I actually unplugged that on the day after Christmas because I'm like, well, it's after Christmas. But I'm like, what do I do here? But Kamal, as I was saying, for other reasons to get the actual coach, got another great idea here. One mindset hack is to stop thinking about oneself. Think of them, the clients, to serve them, and anxiety will go away. So the way that if I repackage that, it basically means that you in the camera have a super clear idea of like who's in this thing anyway, this little piece of glass. And then once it becomes somebody who's very clearly defined in your mind, then it's much easier to have the conversation. You know who you're talking to, as opposed to a complete stranger.
But
You got.
I would add, like sometimes you're like, I don't know who I'm talking to. Well, then that means that when you reach out, I did this. I've talked to a bunch of people to figure out who I can serve and who I cannot. And those who paid me are the ones that I tend to I help out more. But I'm just saying, you'll realize you might get somebody they're just at a level you are not, and it's okay. But now you know. So I would just say, put yourself out there.
And speaking of which, Rob was asking the nasty question where I get to show off my male privilege and say it's like I don't do makeup. It's as a matter of fact on my 366 topics on 366 days, I deliberately turned all of the skin fixing features off on the camera just because I figured in the future people are going to be using that more and more and more, and then online people just aren't going to be like, ew, God, what's that? Oh, that's what humans actually look like. Damn. That's it's possible. Who knows? But that's so for me, like after doing all that content, now it's like, okay, is the camera on? Okay, let's go, and that's it. And that's really what I think is like that's what I was going for that project. I wanted to get to the point where I'm exactly the same on camera as off camera, which is more or less true.
Is that the
So
why
so
you
how
got
about
the
you?
green what was it, the green screen shirt?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got the greens. Yeah, right. Yeah, so I could just disappear on command. That's handy.
That is. And so I would say to answer Rob's question, it depends on you. You can work with any coach. You can pay the money. And everybody's like, will I have guaranteed results? Well, no. The results depend on how much effort you put in. If you put in a lot of effort, you're going to see results right away. If you put in mediocre, then that's what you're going to get. So you can't
Hmm.
blame anybody. You have to just say, if I'm going to do this, just jump in.
Hmm. Hmm. So
And yes, I
but
can help you,
is
Dan, with your makeup anytime.
yeah. All right, great. That'll be really nice. That'll be really nice. But so one of the other things that comes to mind, I know we should wrap it up for the top of the hour, but let's talk about another difference that's specific to the like being a man versus being a woman, which is that it like I know for you we've discussed before the stuff that goes on in the DMs, basically things that are like sexual in nature, people being creeps. Okay, and I this was really it was the cutest thing ever when Shri and I were discussing this before. She's like, "Well, yeah, you must get nudes in your inbox all the time, right?" And it's like, "Yes, no, yes, yes, no, no." Okay, and the truth is no, no. People don't send me nudes in my DMs or anything like that. And I'm not saying people should or anything like that, but I guarantee it would interfere with productivity. And I'm not really, I don't want to see most people's genitalia. I think that is something that I have in common with most women. But let's talk about that as far as the differences go, or if you have any comments about that as far as like I love the fact that on LinkedIn and these different platforms you can just block somebody and then they don't exist. Whereas your actual phone number, it's like you can still block people, but usually it's not as effective or gratifying. It feels
I
great.
was,
It's like eh, none of
I mean,
you.
I it has gotten less, but I get more of the I want to marry you and I love you comments,
Mm,
which is like, okay. But in the beginning, it was a lot of that. And it stopped because obviously we're getting more and more women talking about it. And two, it's also in the profile, the image that I have on my profile. And I won't say that, it's they all give all, but it also shows when I started working with a content writer coach that the way that I write and present myself, I notice I'm getting less of those people wanting to share. And I'm also in the DMs like, I'm here to help you get comfortable in front of the camera.
mhm.
This is not the kind of conversation you want.
Not
Peace.
that kind of comfort for the
Yeah,
camera.
I'm like,
The other, like for here, comfort in front.
yeah, so no, I don't have I still have the highs and I love you, will you marry me? But
Mm.
there's no there's no needs coming in.
Right, right. Yeah, it's and that's so like as far as like on the upper side, like I was trying to get an idea of what percent of your day that would suck up. And the reason why I'm putting you on the spot for this is because I've done a bunch of surveying with a bunch of different people, and it sounds like you did get it a little bit worse than average. So like, can it suck up like what, like 10-20% of your day, or is it still less than that when it's on the bad side?
When it's on the bad side, I don't even pay attention. It's just
Well, yeah,
block.
I just means like, well, yeah. So I'm saying like, but like just the fact that they're in there and you're looking for legitimate business, and you see like that sort of stuff popping up, like how, like what kind? Like, I guess part of the reason I'm thinking of this, I guess, is that if I'm say the director of social media management at like a Fortune 500 company, something like that. And I've got two different people who are both working social media. One's a man who's like, just ho hum, no big deal, and the other one's a woman who's like fairly attractive. It's like if the productivity is lower from the woman who's attractive, like that might be chalked up to the fact that guys are creeps, and they have no trouble wasting the time of a beautiful girl. So like that's why I'm hoping to get some sort of number out of you, like as far as like, is it like a 5% difference, 10%, 20%, like just feeling.
It's not like it's the first message. You really don't know until you start talking to somebody. So they could come out right off the bat just talking to you normal. And then all of a sudden, it just flips script and you're like, "What? Wait, hold on. How did this come?" While some are off the bat, but I'm saying that I'm starting to understand that they're starting like I'm not saying that everybody's, but those who really are into that, they are getting smarter about their conversation. So they're basically getting to groom you to be okay to talk to them. And then next thing you know, they'll just send a picture. But it took
Hmm.
time. If you look back in the conversations, there's things that they have said that you may have bypassed, or things that they were very subtle about. You so when you got it, you're like, what? Wait,
Hmm.
hold
Hmm.
on. I
Hmm.
wasn't expecting this from you. Like, I remember in the midst of 2020, I had this guy who lived in Houston. He was like, "Oh, I think you're so beautiful. I think you're really hot. We should have dinner together." I was like, "Okay, cool. We're gonna do a Zoom dinner." No, he was like, "No, I want you to come over and I want you to have dinner with me." I'm like, "First off, I don't even know you. We don't do that. And second off, no."
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a tough one. But as far as getting the other half of the conversation, like the other gender here, I guess the one thing first is I want to say, guys, don't be creeps. Okay, it's very very important. But the other thing too, as far as skills go, back when I worked for web.com, one of the duties I had to do was be a human spam box. Just sit there and go through our inbox and sort of say, okay, this one looks real. Okay, this one looks real. This one looks real. And while I was working there, I actually got to start working with the world's fastest reader. He read my 32,000 word book in 90 seconds on camera during the interview. And because I got to be pals with him, he gave me his course. And so like speed reading is by far the most valuable skill I've found in today's workflow. To just be more productive, because that way you can blast through the messages, you can blast through emails, all those things just way faster. Are there any things that you can think of that help, like if you are building an audience through making more camera appearances? Do you have anything to say on that subject as far as skills that really help it all work out?
I would just say pick a place that you feel comfortable and just start recording there and continue to record and don't care about the mistakes. That was one of the things I would always, and I hear this a lot. People are like, it took me like 8 hours to make one video. How about you just do the video and post it?
Right. Law of diminishing returns, right?
Yeah,
If
just
there is a point where, yeah.
it takes 1 hour to do that one video, post whatever is there. Now, if I send a video through DMs on LinkedIn, I even say I made a mistake. Now, unless it's like way off what I didn't want to say, I basically just do one take and I send it, and that's it. Because I've accepted that I do make mistakes. I'm not perfect. And the people who are receiving it do not judge you. They actually enjoy it. They love to hear your voice and they love the personalization.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So the only thing I have to talk to the audience about, even if you're in a replay, I do want to know about this. One of the crazy ideas that Shri was mentioning was I got this idea for a show, and if this is interesting for you as a content show, it's a platform here. It's called the Squirm Game, and I was thinking about like the Hornet's Nest or something like that, but it's a panel of women and me. and then I try and step into every single hornet's nest that I can find as far as what's going to make me look like a complete, douchebag, bigot, like whatever you want to call it, just yeah, anything like that. So that's what I was thinking, and part of what I was thinking to really start off on the wrong foot is to introduce all of the panelists like as if they're Charlie's Angels, and I'm Charlie. And I was thinking about your role. I said in the description, I called you an Indian Pam Grier. Okay, so you're good with that one?
Yeah, actually, Rob asked me about that. He's like, "You're an Indian Pam Grier." I was like, "I love it. I
All
love
right.
it." It's actually,
Awesome.
but he did ask a question. I wanted to answer it to kind of like, and it goes with what you're talking about. In hindsight, what are some of the red flags that I missed? And I would say just the conversation about how, oh, your top looks really nice on you, or the way that it sits on your, certain part
Yeah,
of your body, or just subtle little things that you're like, what?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Or like,
That's
or asking me or saying, are you getting hot? Well, it's hot. It's like 1,000 degrees.
wow. Yeah, that's really something. But well, that's also one of the reasons why I stick to LinkedIn is because I think it is far less creepy than a lot of the alternatives. But
It's up there. It's getting up there. I don't agree. It's getting up there.
okay, so then the other thing that comes to mind is that the difference between connecting and following. Somebody can follow and then they don't have the ability to DM you unless they use their in-mail, and they only have a limited amount of in-mail. Is there anything you want to mention as far as that goes, as far as like the vetting process, or like I understand that like you don't know if somebody could be a perfect gentleman in their career or whatever and just turn out to be a complete creep once they connect, but is there anything else that you can think of before we
Well,
wrap up?
when I think about this, like if you're going to use an in-mail, you're actually having to put thought into the message. Now, it's when you connect and you're like, okay, true story. Person is very high ranking in this Fortune 200, or I think Fortune 100 company. Very high ranking. Little did I know they turned out to be some creepo. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like they didn't approach me, they just talked to me like normal. We connected. We just had and then it turned into like, wow, like it was few weeks later. I was like, what? And you're supposed to, but and that's why I'm trying to say it's the subtle things that catch you off guard. And I could tell you, and this is also the other aspect of it. Somebody could say, oh, you look really nice in that top. And now all of a sudden, women can be like, oh, you're being this and you're being that. No, I'm just complimenting you.
Hmm.
So it's a
Hmm.
double-edged sword that you have to realize, like, I love the follow button. You can still have creepos that send you in-mail messages, but you can also have people who are creepos and they just build up to it. Or you just have genuine, like yourself, Dan, like you're just trying to be, you have a daughter, you have a wife. You're just like, hey, that top looks nice on you, period. Keep it
Hmm.
moving.
Right, exactly. I'm not asking for your number. It's and even if I am, it's totally business related. That's just how I roll. But what can you do? But this has been really
Dan's afraid of
fantastic.
his daughter and wife. That's just the real story.
Oh yeah, that totally is the real story. And it was before that. I wasn't a creep even before I met my wife. But yeah, it's something I've just been acutely aware of, because like every once in a while somebody will have a chip on their shoulder and they'll think that that's what's going on. And it's just funny with me. It's because it's like, like if you know me well and you got something else going on other than being hot, you can be absolutely certain I'm more interested in that other thing. I love to be around beautiful people, but I have no interest in possessing them like objects. It's like, yeah, this is, it's a friend, so you can give them a call, see what's up. It's just don't monopolize all their time, and then there aren't really any problems. So there you go.
Hmm.
And on that note, Rob here is saying I'm a great guy, and I
I
can't think of a
agree.
better way to end it off with than that glowing review.
Mhm.
But
I agree
but
with Rob.
all right, well, that's very nice of you. And thank you so much for joining today. I hope you and the audience really enjoyed this Who Are You Helping? I'm planning on having much more of them. And if you have something going on, you could use some extra exposure. And especially if you think that somehow I might fit in with your whole story, that's even better. But these are generally 8-minute interviews to record because I'm just going through. First, you introduce yourself, then it's who do you help professionally. Sri, you know the difficulties of just even expressing what you do to help people professionally very often. You know, me, I already knew marketing. I'm definitely smarter than the average bear. It still took me about 2 years to get it locked, okay? And like this is working on it all the time. Learning how to express what you do professionally is a very challenging thing to do, okay, especially if you're on the fringes of typical jobs or whatever. But then after that it's who do you wish you could help more, so it might be charitable, it might be personal, and then how can people help you. But thank you for tuning in, thank you for joining me today. We're gonna end it off. Thanks, Sri.
Thank you.
All right. See you, everybody. Make sure you say like and subscribe or whatever it is that you do on these things. It's awesome. See ya. Bye.